back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So once again, I am continuing my Fill the World series where I create houses for all of the empty lots in each of EA's worlds. So this week we are in Oasis Springs building a house for the lot called Pebble Burrow, I think is what it's called, Pebble Burrow. That sounds right. So this house is called Old California. Shout out to my mom because she was the one who came up with the name for it because as some of you may know, I am really bad with coming up with names for houses. So I was on the phone with her while I was finishing up this house and I was like, okay, I need a name for this house I'm building. Help me out. Yeah, shout out to her because she came up with the name for it. So anyways, this house started off as a starter home because it's in the starter home neighborhood in Oasis Springs. It doesn't stay that way though. Quickly realized that I have a hard time building starter homes. It's so hard for me to stay on a budget, and I like my houses to be decorated nicely, and it's just not an easy thing to do when you're stuck with a budget of like under 20,000 simoleons. So I checked the budget on this house after I had done like the outside, well, not even like outside landscaping, just like this part, you know, like the roofing and the wallpaper and that sort of stuff. I did that, and I did the kitchen, and at that point I had already spent 30,000 simoleons on this house, so yikes. Definitely not a budget-friendly house, although it is definitely budget in size because it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. So I really liked the name Old California for a variety of reasons, but also because in my mind I sort of felt like this was a good depiction of Old California. You know, it's like, it's a smaller house, so at some point in time it probably was considered like more of a starter home, but you know, especially in like the Los Angeles area, it probably would not be very cheap to live in a house like this. So I thought that Old California seemed to fit the house very, very well. I used a lot of the stuff from the Jungle Adventure game pack in building this house. So pretty much all of the like flooring and the walls and the doors and the windows, the roof, the outside like wall decorations above the roof things, you know, like those little fake roof things. All of that came from Jungle Adventure. So unfortunately, if you don't have Jungle Adventure, this is probably not going to be a great house for you to download because you'll miss out on a lot of the objects. I mean, they'll be replaced, but the house really won't look the same. So don't recommend it if you don't have the Jungle Adventure game pack. But if you don't, I recommend getting it because it's a fun one. And the build items on it, I think, are really, really nice. So this is the inside of the house. There's a living room and a kitchen and a bathroom and 2 bedrooms, and that's about it inside of the house. So I really did have every intention of starting off this house as being a more budget-friendly starter house, but you know, did that last? Nope. So this room here with the teal tiles on the wall, that's going to be the kitchen. I decided to go with kind of like a teal color scheme this time. I thought it was something fun and different, and in all honesty, kitchens tend to be kind of hot rooms in general because, you know, you've got the stove going and there are usually some other appliances going, or there's a lot of people in there. So even though the color of the walls doesn't actually cool down a room, it does make it feel a little cooler. So I thought that, you know, a nice cool toned like teal or minty green color would kind of help offset some of the heat that you might feel normally in the kitchen. Plus, I just really like this color a lot. Like currently I'm wearing a zip-up sweatshirt. That's the exact same color as the walls and the countertops and the refrigerator and, you know, everything in the kitchen basically. And my band on my Fitbit currently is the same color as well. So, big fan of this particular like tealy minty green kind of color. So, you know, I don't know how I haven't come across doing this color before in kitchens. But yeah, so I'm very pleased with how this kitchen turned out though. And there's like a cute little seating area. I actually was able to find dining chairs that fit the color, that same tealy color that was in the Parenthood game pack, which I was a little surprised about because I really had to hunt to find chairs that were in that color because it's one of those colors where like when you're using the color filters on the side, you could find it under like green or blue because it's in between the two. So, you know, it's one of those times that using the filters probably isn't the most helpful thing in the world, but usually I do tend to use the filters quite a bit when I'm going through and doing builds and stuff, or like, you know, when I'm decorating a sim. I'm also a big fan of using them there. But yeah, so now I'm just putting in some nice little decorative clutter items, continuing to use the old trick of placing them on the counter, then moving the counter out, and then placing them into position, and then moving the counter back in again. Which, pro tip, it's a lot easier to do that if you do it before you have the upper cabinets placed. It's kind of tricky to see it otherwise. Will I ever learn this? No. No, I won't. But, you know, that's life. That's my problem. So this is actually the second time that I'm recording this audio, which I hope to God it works this time, because I don't know that I have it in me to record it a third time. Because of course, like, usually when I record voiceovers for speed builds, or create a sim videos, I'll start it a few times, and then I'll usually like mix up my words in the intro or something, or sometimes I just outright forget what I'm doing completely, which is always fun. And then I have to like restart from that point, but you know, usually it's only a few seconds in. But no, I had actually already recorded the entire voiceover for this video, and then I went back in and I went to, in my editing software, I went to apply it to the video, and I was listening and I was like, what is that horrible crackling noise? And there was like this like weird crackling noise. So thankfully I've learned I didn't exit out of Audacity until I have my video totally done, because then I can still go in and like make changes and stuff without having to, because I don't ever save the original like files for Audacity. I just save the exported WAV file version, but then I can't go in and make like sound editing changes to the file. So thankfully I hadn't done that yet, and I tried to fix it and couldn't get that background crackle noise to go away. So basically what I figured out had happened is that my pop filter that I use for my microphone must have gotten pushed a little bit, and it was actually resting against the surface of the microphone the entire time that I was recording this the first time around, which was why there was like this persistent crackling throughout the entire audio. And I was like, okay, I can't publish it like that. Like, okay, that's pretty bad. So here I am, once again, recording this audio all over. Yay! So obviously we've moved on to the living room. Like this entryway area, I tried to kind of keep it a little bit more open. So there's like a bookcase and a stereo and a chess table there. And then there's like a seating area with the TV and the fireplace. I was originally going to do a separate seating area instead of having a chess table there. So that way then if you have, I always like in bigger living rooms, like if I have a bookcase and a TV, to have a separate sitting area for the bookcase, because like in real life it's really difficult to read a book with the TV going at the same time, I think personally. So I was going to do a separate seating area back there for the bookcase. So like, you know, if you're trying to read, you don't have to be distracted. But then I realized that this is The Sims, not real life, and chances are people would try to sit down at the very back of the room on that couch to watch TV instead of sitting at the couches that are closest to the TV. And I was like, no, that's going to look really dumb. So don't want to do that. So there's no actual seating area back there, but you know, it is a smaller home. The Sims are just going to have to make do. If they want to read a book, they can take it somewhere else, or they can just suffer through reading while other people are watching TV. Plus, there is like the nice fireplace there, so, you know, maybe they want to sit there and have the fireplace going while they're reading their book. Although, whether or not you actually would need that fireplace in Oasis Springs is another story. Also, I realized that this is, I think, the second build in a row where I have used that weird-shaped, kind of bean-shaped looking rug from the Seasons pack in one of my builds. Because I used, I think it was the green variant of it in my green and gray goddess house last time. So yeah, it's a nice rug. And I like that it's kind of a unique shape, because some spaces, like that space there in the living room, it didn't really fit either a rectangular rug or the circle or square rugs. So it was kind of nice to have something that was not a traditional shape, and you could kind of like twist it and turn it to be what you need it to be. So yeah, it's a good rug is what I'm trying to get at. So yeah, so this is the bathroom. I actually did leave the bathroom in. Usually I take the bathroom footage out of my builds because they run kind of long otherwise. But I figured since there's only one bathroom and I decorated it quite a bit, I figured I could probably leave it in and it wouldn't be a big deal. But yeah, used obviously again a lot of the stuff from Jungle Adventure. I think the tub is from Spa Day. That bathroom cabinet thing is from Seasons again, which I never seem to use that. I don't know why, because when I saw it before Seasons had come out and I was looking at like preview videos and stuff of like different items from people who had gotten the game early, and I was like, ooh, that's a really nice cabinet. I will use that all the time, and I've used it like once or twice. So, but there's always room for me to use it again in the future. So, yay. So this is the master bedroom. I went with kind of like a green and yellow and light brown / tan color scheme in here. I wanted it to kind of feel like a little mismatch in here. Like, typically your master bedroom is not like the centerpiece of your house. So in reality, you might not have everything that matches perfectly. So that's kind of what I was going for here. Because who sees inside of your master bedroom besides like you and your partner? Like it's just not something that people usually do when they come over to your house. They go poking around in your master bedroom. Like, no, that's just weird. So yeah, but I still wanted it to look kind of coordinated. So like they have some idea of a color scheme in here, but it's not perfect. Also, I had the choice of either putting in a dresser or the desk with a computer. So I picked the computer. So there is no technical dresser in the master bedroom, although I do have the wall shelves that have like clothing on them, which I do wish that those actually had like the dresser functionality, because like, why don't they, But, and then I do put a dresser in the kids' bedroom next door. So there is a dresser on the lot, it's just not in the master bedroom. So, but, or you could always just change your sim using the mirror. Or if you have the MC Command Center mod, you can just use that, which is honestly what I do most of the time because it's a lot easier. So this is the kids' bedroom. This is kind of like pre-teen / tween age Christine's dream color scheme. It's very colorful, very bright, lots of pinks and blues and purples. I always feel like whenever I have like this type of a color scheme in my kids' bedrooms, that it's really more of like a tween or a preteen aged room, which I don't know. I always associate pastels with younger Sims and bolder colors with older Sims. Maybe because I feel like teen to tween age Sims probably would choose brighter, bolder colors. I don't know. Maybe not. But whereas like younger Sims, they might not have the ability, like, when you're 5, you're still probably in the same decorating scheme that your parents picked out for your nursery when you were a baby. Whereas by the time you're like 10 or 11, you kind of want to flex your creative wings a little bit and decorate more to how you see fit and not so much how your parents might want your room to be decorated. So basically I went all out with the fun decorations in this room. I mean, like, it's not a very big room, but you can really fit a lot in here. So, I think whatever kid age Sim who's living in that room will enjoy it for a good long while. So outside I did kind of like a little pool patio area. I figured, being in Oasis Springs, it gets really hot. Like, it doesn't even snow in the winter. It's a desert. So they could probably appreciate having like a nice pool space as opposed to like having a backyard with a bunch of like, swings and, all that other stuff. So yeah, instead having a nice spot to take a little dip in the pool might be a nice idea. So, I didn't really do anything else I put landscaping in, but I didn't do anything else in the backyard because I sort of figured if you're living in Oasis Springs, how much time are you really spending outside? I don't know. Maybe if you are living in Oasis Springs, you're a person who by nature enjoys the heat more. Personally, I'm not a fan of the heat. I try to avoid it at all possible costs. Case in point, when I got married, I wanted to get married in October because it would not be super hot, and I knew that I wanted to go on my honeymoon to Walt Disney World. So I was like, well, I'm not going to Florida in the summer because that's just like asking for trouble. So I picked our wedding date based upon the weather of our honeymoon location. So that's a fun little fact about me because, I don't know that I've ever shared this story before, but when my husband proposed to me, after, it was our anniversary, our dating anniversary. And so, we went to this nice fancy fondue restaurant and he proposed and it was super romantic and I didn't cry because until I got pregnant, I didn't cry when I was happy. And now I cry all the time for a variety of reasons. But, so then as we were walking back to the car, I did two things. The first was I called my grandma to tell her that I had gotten engaged. She was the first person to know. And the other thing that I did was I looked at my then fiance, now husband, and I was like, okay, so we're going to be getting married on October 18th. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, already got the date picked out. Like, obviously I didn't have like anything booked or anything because that would have been really crazy. But no, I had already decided like, okay, like weekends, like I had been planning the day, like looking at people's schedules, and I was like, my sister was still in college at that point, and I knew I wanted her to be my maid of honor, so I kind of had to work around her college schedule, and so, to be fair, he kind of already knew what he was getting into, because on, like, our third month of dating, one day I was over at his apartment, and I was like, let me show you wedding dresses. So, and I did. I actually showed him the dress that I wound up picking out to wear to my wedding, because that's just the brand of crazy that I am. And would you believe it? He still married me, even after all that. I tried to shake him, and I just couldn't. But, I guess that's, how you're meant to be with the person. When you show them your absolute craziest part of you, and they still are willing to love and accept you just the way that you are, that's how you know you have a keeper. So, feeling pretty fortunate. But yeah, so anyways, talked through all of the outdoor landscaping that I did, but lots of tropical plants. Again, a lot of stuff from Jungle Adventure. So like I said before, if you don't have Jungle Adventure, maybe pass up this house, but that's okay because there's a lot of other houses that I have available for download. So this is Old California. It is currently available for download on the Sims 4 gallery. You can get to it through either using the link in the description box below this video, or you can search on the gallery, just select newest first, and then search for either my username, which is Mrs. Tomato 1018, or you can search using the hashtag Mrs. Tomato 1018. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you can do so down below. I put out a new video every day, Monday through Friday. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!